Watch you throw the ball, we gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep your cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of Trap or Dive Podcast. I'm your host of the Trap or Dive Podcast, Mual. AJ's on the way. Dre's on the way. Before we get through, we got the guys backstage. Let's go ahead and get them in here right quick. Rob, what's up? Benz, what's up? Let's get through the administrative items as well. As always, man, if you are tapping in on the YouTube side, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I see you, JC. Yeah, I really don't know. I don't know who's podcast intro theme song is better than Trap or Dive's. I'm talking about outside of DC. I'm talking about national, across the country. I'm genuinely dead ass don't know. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube side, man. Audio. Hit that follow button, man. Rating and review if you can. We definitely appreciate that, man. It takes 10 seconds to do so that way. And it's free to show your support on that side. Listen, we're working on a guest coming up soon. Hopefully we can lock that in. So that'll be a fun conversation. Just giving y'all a heads up off the rip. It's been quiet with the guest side, but I like these 3-man conversations with the gang, bro. So once we can get that one situated, we can kind of get the ball rolling with some guests, especially when the practice started like OTAs. I think we got mini camp in maybe like a week or two. So that's gonna be all good. Checking in with the fellas now. Dre, AJ, what's up? How y'all feeling?
Cooling, man. Shit.
It sounds like some ice heading some brown liquor over there, Dre.
Yeah, I got some good stuff today. Ain't the cheap stuff today. I broke out the good stuff.
All right, hold on now. Tell the chat then. Tell the chat what you sipping on today.
Some Angel's Envy.
What the hell is that?
Some bourbon. Some good.
He said I got some good stuff today. He just named some random ass shit.
Hey, it's random because you don't see people drinking it too much. It costs a little bit.
I'm about to say, if I don't know it, bro, I genuinely believe it's up there. Like I know the cheap shit, I know the shit I pay for, and then I know like the
exactly. Everybody know the cheap shit.
Yeah.
I know it well.
All right, so let me add. I don't want to ask you how much the bottle is, but how much would it cost at a bar for a glass? What'd you call it?
Angel's Envy. To be honest with you, I don't know how much it would cost at a bar. My homeboy gifted me this. It was a birthday present, but it's the good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, what was your birthday, bro?
May 22nd. Last week, I turned the big 4-0.
Man, fool, you ain't even say nothing.
You ain't say a word, bro.
Hey, birthdays is just birthdays to me, bro. Like I don't really be going crazy
bro.
about it.
Hold on.
When is it? Hold on, wait. When is it, bro? I'm about to put it in my phone right now.
I'm gonna add it to my calendar.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now, bro.
It's not just birthdays, bro. Like it's a blessing to see another year. A lot of people don't get the opportunity to see a birthday, so like we want you to always feel like you should celebrate that. You feel me? Like we didn't even know it was your birthday. You feel me?
That's wild.
I'm learning that with AJ because I've never done this before. Like I've never went all out for my birthday. Like it's my birthday. Everybody, it's my birthday. So I'm learning now to appreciate getting older, appreciate celebrating the day. So I'm gonna do better going forward.
And then he just casually told us last week he was over there, doing his thing at a spot, bro. And like,
that was just some random stuff. That was some random stuff.
It was still a weekend, bro.
You was there on your birthday, wasn't you?
No, that was a Saturday.
No.
My birthday
that was Saturday.
Yeah,
okay.
That was Saturday morning. Yeah,
hey, man.
that's
wild,
crazy.
bro.
But I mean, we gonna throw something back this weekend, you know.
Huh?
Whoa. I didn't say
You say,
I didn't
bro?
say I didn't say we gonna throw it back. I said we gonna throw something back like drinks.
Yeah, that
All
ain't. I
right,
mean, that
bro.
wasn't
Oh
going.
wait, we gonna have some drinks. We're gonna have some drinks. Damn.
Hey.
Oh my
I'm
God,
with it,
bro. It's Diddy hours. We just starting the show. God damn.
It's not our fault. You the one
I
trying to get
said
the
we
party
gonna
started,
throw
bro.
back
hey, y'all
some
are
drinks, some
funny.
shots. And you just sitting here making me think about throwing it back. Like, whoa. like you got me thinking about back that ass up like Juvenile.
Bro.
Hey, y'all are dumb, man.
But nah. Yeah, but
All
Dre,
right.
that's just all I had to say because it's funny enough. I wear this brand called Essentials, and one of the years that they brand their clothing with says 1977. So this old couple came up to me in the grocery store like a couple of days ago. They're like, "Hey, were you born in 1977?" I was like, "Huh?" Like that's the last thing I would expect. You feel me? Because I feel like I look so young. And I was like, no, I'm not born in 1977 or whatever. And they were like, oh, we had an amazing year in 1977. Our son was born in 1977, whatever. And I was just explaining to them, at the end of the day, I hope that I get to live that long because it's a blessing. Like a lot of people don't get to make it that long and see those birthdays and celebrate it. So on a serious note, I know we was joking around or whatever. Yeah, man. Pat yourself on the back while we on air right
Hey, I'll
now.
do that now. Yeah.
There you go, bro.
for seeing another year. And
There you
yeah, we're
go.
gonna take a shot to you over the weekend if you still pulling up and make sure you hit your little two-step like you did last year.
No more dancing for me. No more. I
Nah,
retired.
I
we
don't
we, we
know.
Retired
got
Got a
dancing.
so
little,
so so
got a
Maul.
little pretty
Now
honey
now
show up, bro.
it makes sense why he partied so hard last year. It was coming off the week anniversary of his birthday.
And you
Bro,
know
I
what?
don't
I
think he
probably didn't even
ever.
think
I
about
don't
We
it.
ain't
think he
even know
ever.
it. We ain't even know it last year.
I'm
I
about to say
probably
I
didn't
don't
even
think he
think about
ever
it.
told us like, yeah, I'm out such and such for my birthday, or I'm out with some friends for my birthday. I don't think he ever told us in like
I
4
probably
years.
ain't do nothing. I don't even remember what happened last year.
Just letting that shit be flying in the wind, bro. Your
Hey,
birthday.
it's all right, man. I'm gonna get
All
better.
right,
I'm gonna do better.
all right, man. It's all good, bro. It's all good. All right. So AJ, you survived Twitter. So you think?
Oh, I mean, they act like my life was gonna change or something because they mad about my
That's
trip.
now that was the funniest part of it all. Is like, 'cause I know AJ. AJ, I ain't gonna lie, they was on your ass, but I know you, and I was like, bro, like little do they know, like AJ he personally does not care.
Now he gonna dig deeper. Like AJ gonna stay in that stance. He ain't coming up off his tape.
I did not care. Like I was having people like DM me or at me like you're getting cooked. I'm like, what has changed in my life? Nothing.
Nothing.
Like it does not matter at all. And I still rock with my opinion. I mean, I put it out there, but I mean I've said it on the show countless of times. Whoever watches Trap or Dive know exactly how I feel about Terry McLaurin. And
I think what really spiced it up though, it was like the timing in which you said it. Like you said it on the show, and you probably even said it on Twitter once or twice before, but you said it in the midst of the Jordan Schultz tweet or
oh
report.
yeah,
Not even a report, but it was just the fact that he said something that he missed I forgot what he said.
he missed
He wasn't in the building or something
he
like
missed
that.
the OTA or whatever meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm like, and then you follow it up with I wouldn't pay him right now. Like, of course that's just going.
Oh no, I think the main word that triggered a lot of people, especially the casuals, was reevaluate. So that's what really bothered them. But the funny thing is that that wasn't planned, that wasn't strategic. But a lot of people in the local media, ran with the topic on their shows. Some of our fellow podcast people interviewed national media individuals, asked them, and they really ducked the question. Like the national people was ducking the question. Like, what's the Sycamore dude from PFF? He made the top 10 wide receiver list, and this fool gonna say he barely put Terry at 10. He struggled with it so much. I'm like, if you struggle with it so much, why the hell you put him at 10? That means you ain't even confident putting him at 10. Then I know Doug and George, they did an interview with someone. They asked him, he danced around the question. You feel me? So it's like, I understand what Terry is. Terry is a small man's 50-50 ball wide receiver. You feel me? At the end of the day, it is.
I don't even know. I think a small man's is a slight. Like, you know, that's
AJ slighting them for sure.
When I say that, like Terry's probably 5'11", 6 feet. But what I'm saying is, when you think of like a 50-50 ball guy, you think of like a Michael Pittman, a T. Higgins, a Drake London. You're thinking like 6'2" and taller. At the end of the day, I never said that he can't play. I never said that he's not a good player. I just said, and I didn't say I wouldn't re-sign him at all. I just wouldn't go over a certain threshold. And I think that's what's happening right now. They having a real discussion about that threshold, or Terry would be present.
Nah, that I don't see. I don't even agree with that. Like, they're going to pay him. Like, that's not even the question.
So if he missed minicamp 2 weeks from now, then what?
I mean, I don't know, but I think he missed practice before. He missed practice the last time he got paid. Like, I think part of it on his side is strategic. Like, I don't want to take no interview, no questions or nothing like that while we're in the middle of a contract negotiation. Like, avoid that bullshit. Like, let's just get the work done. Y'all know I'm gonna be here. Y'all trust me outside of the facility. Once I get that in, I'm gonna lock back in. But then, like, I think of a couple things, bro. Two things. One, he had a hell of a season, right? Like, had a franchise record with the 13 touchdowns. 15 including the postseason too. Like, he has a quarterback that's clearly about to elevate him in ways in which previous quarterbacks couldn't do so. But then I also think about, like, the conversation we had on this show, right? There was two things that you were saying that was different. And I'm more so bringing it to light because, like, your rebuttals, what I was saying was like, is he a top 10 quarterback? Like, your rebuttals included, a top 10 quarterback. Is he a top 10 wide receiver? Name the people that's better than him. Name the people name the out of such and such, who is he better than, etc. You said, are you going to pay him $34 million a year? And then it was another one that I just lost at the top of my head. But the conversation that we had on this,
Debo was going to have a better season statistically.
Okay, that may have been it. But part of the conversation that we had on here was we weren't even talking 30 in our conversation. We were talking about 34. We were talking about 30 a year, which was the T. Higgins part. Like, are you going to pay him more than T. Higgins? And I think you got to understand, not you, I'm talking about the actual virtual you people, etc. But, like, you got to understand, Terry for sure isn't like a top 5 receiver in NFL, but you're going to pay him more than what he got now. You're going to probably give him like a 3-year deal because that's a sweet spot. Like, that's what I always thought. Like, if you're going to give him another extension, 3 years is probably the sweet spot, given that Jaden's deal at that time is probably going to expire. He's probably going to ride the contract out with Jaden in terms of, like, the last few years of his rookie deal. But then we're talking about the fact that, 31 mil is more than the 5th or 4th best or 4th highest paid receiver in the NFL right now. It's not like you got to be number one. And sure, maybe his agent may shoot for that, but also they may also, like, the alternative is they may be very much aware of what he's worth and, like, not try to break the bank over the Washington Commanders. Like, I'm not saying doing a team friendly deal. I'm just saying some people actually operate that way in terms of, like, let's make this as fair as possible on both ends. And let's get this man paid, rightfully so, but let's get him paid to a point where, like, he's respectable in the NFL, because he's not going to get paid higher than Jamar Chase. He's not going to get paid higher than T. Higgins. I forgot what T. Higgins is making right now. But, and then he's not going to get paid higher than somebody else who just got paid. I don't remember who it is.
DK Metcalf.
DK. And DK's getting paid, what, like 33, 32?
Yeah, 33.
33. Well, shit, honestly, He might get paid as much as DK. I think about it.
Where the 33, 34 came from.
I'm about to say he might get as much as him.
Because T got 28 and Terry's already at like probably 24 now. And the franchise tag.
Oh, T got 28. I don't know why I got 30. Yeah, he's gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid higher than T.
Yeah, and the franchise tag for wide receiver next year would be like 28 million. I mean, it was an interesting conversation for a lot of people. I didn't really converse with them too much. At the end of the day, you know, people feel a certain way about their darling, Terry McLaurin. I get it. Community, all those other things. I don't give a damn about any of that in my commentary. Like, I'm talking about strictly on the field and what I project him to do over the span of at least, even if he signs a 3-year deal, what do I expect him to do over the next 2 years? Do I expect him to hit 13 touchdowns again? Do I expect him to hit less than 1,200 yards? Whatever the case is, I just think that it's an interesting dynamic for them because Washington, yes, they have the funds to do so, but you got a lot of guys that's running up on new deals, man, like Tyler Biadasz, Frankie Louvu, Marshon Lattimore, Lermy Thompson.
Marshon don't even need to be in this conversation.
He ain't heard nothing yet.
No, I'm just.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
he's omitted. He's omitted from this.
No, but if he pans out in how they traded for him, right? He's someone you got to think about. Debo, like that's another guy. If he succeeds in this offense and hits his numbers, he's gonna ask for something similar. And I think where I was coming from, and I probably could explain it a little bit better, is this is Terry's last opportunity to cash out. Like, there's not going to be another big window. I mean, another big opportunity to get paid. So you really want to make sure that you set yourself up at a good standard. And he's not with no big time agent. You feel me? That Jordan Schultz information was predicated from his agent. They ain't just come out the blue. Like that was pushed from a relationship standpoint. That's what made me even put out my tweet. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think people they're gonna have their panties in a bunch when it comes to Terry. You know, a lot of them are like, oh, he's had 5 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons. Who has he even played with? Like, he's the number one guy. Like,
but AJ, I think the problem with bums. But AJ, I think the problem with your thinking with Terry is, my thing is, what's the downside to paying a guy like Terry who's done it consistently and shows no signs of really slowing down? And right now, from a negotiating standpoint, Terry has all the leverage right now because of the season he just had, and he's coming up on this contract in. But I mean, he's done it for years, and if you know you're going to get this consistency out of him, and I know you say you don't really care about the outside of the football stuff, but that stuff matters as far as leadership goes in the locker room. Terry looks beloved by all his teammates in the locker room. Like, why break up something that you know works when you're just talking about splitting a couple of dollars? And I don't even think age is even a factor here. With Terry's, 29 going on 30. But Terry doesn't look like he's going to slow down in the next couple of years. And as you said, this could be his last big paycheck. Why not Washington reward him with his last big paycheck? Because what is the downside to that? That's my question. What is the downside?
The downside is you could be in a bad contract for maybe 2-3 years, depending on how you guarantee it, how you structure it. That's my issue. I'm not saying that he's gonna fall off the cliff, but I don't even think he's in that range of what some of these guys are getting paid at the moment to get paid. Like that.
I think he's in that T. Higgins range where he's getting paid.
I don't. Damn, you about to make me go back to last week's tweet. Okay, I might have said it jokingly. From a talent standpoint, Malik Neighbors is better than Terry McLaurin.
Well, talent-wise, yes, I would agree with that. Yes. I think T. Higgins. I think Neighbors has potential to be a top 5 receiver in this league.
Yeah, and that's where for me, a lot of the reasoning why I put out the tweet was this is the first time in Terry's career that he's going to play with another bona fide wide receiver in Deebo Samuel. Some people may question things about Deebo. Might throw out he's injury prone, he doesn't run routes, whatever. But we can honestly look at the collective of wide receivers Terry McLaurin has played with and then put Deebo there, and it is night and day. Like, so I would like to personally see how Terry flourishes, or how he not even flourishes, but how he handles being out there, because we've seen him disappear when there's not even a Deebo Samuel within the offense. How does he handle that with?
That was it.
When I say handle it,
he was naming the games that he disappeared on. I'm like, bro, like he only had like I felt like you was what's the word? Exacerbating the truth. Like he truly disappeared in like 2 games. He was inactive and like not a factor in like 4 total, including those 2 that he disappeared in. Like I didn't see like the need to even throw that out there as if like it was a true criticism of Terry. Like I think it's something that you can talk about like in a conversation right here, but like in a factor of a contract negotiation, they're gonna that's they ain't even worried about that.
It depends. I think you worry about how he fares up against actual bump, like real bump from the cornerback position. But at the end of the day, if you brought in a Deebo Samuel who also needs to get paid, like from my perspective, I would like to see how they both play together, and I go from there. Like that's what I said, reevaluate, because they still got tools to their disposal, such as the franchise tag, to utilize. But I think ultimately Terry gets an extension before the season kicks off. Now, where does that number fare? Don't know. I know, for example, as this conversation started, I think I listened to Grant and Danny. Grant was like, he would be comfortable paying him $28 million, 29, I think, and 30, but nothing above 30. And it's just like, damn, that kind of sounds like what I said. But at the end of the day, it just really all depends, man. I hope that guys get paid. I just personally would like to see how Terry does with some actual bump on the other side. Like
so with that being your stance, AJ, are you more so thinking that there could be a drop off in Terry's production because he's playing with better talent? Is that your argument?
Yes, I think that Deebo Samuel will lead this team in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns.
Hell no.
You will win a lot of money if you put a bet on that now. You will win a lot of money.
You go to FanDuel. Ask one of your friends to put a FanDuel wager that he gonna lead the team in receiving yards, bro.
Hey, we can do Underdog. You feel me? So I mean, at the end of the day, that's my personal take. So it's gonna be interesting. That's one of the main. If you ask me for one of my main storylines of the 2025 season, that would be one of them. Is how is Terry and Deebo Samuel's relationship going to be on the field as far as their utilization within this offense?
All right. We spent a good little minute on Terry, which is cool. Let's go to Marshon and Tunsil. They missed OTAs this week. Big deal, no big deal. Like, what's the first off? Actually, let me preface this because I don't think it's a big deal. With Tunsil, I don't think it's a big deal with Marshon. But Linnell, bro, you're my boy. But Linnell, I opened my phone, bro. I was barely active on Twitter over the weekend, bro. But like, no, wait. I don't know when OTA started. I guess I don't know when I saw his. I was seeing his tweets. Maybe it was a day or two ago. I have no idea.
Yeah, it was this week for sure.
But he's spazzing about these people not attending practice, and I'm like, bro, like I don't even have that much energy for anything or anybody.
Oh my God, I can't believe. You know, I was listening to the radio when the news broke, and I heard Linnell's reaction. But Linnell, I feel like he was a Chase Young fan, and I believe that's what part of his frustration is coming from because of how people discuss Chase Young not attending these things, and now I think he wants that same energy brought to these guys, which is. Yeah.
I don't think it's a big deal. I'm concerned with Marshon, but I'm more so concerned like why did you miss OTAs? I don't have an answer.
Yeah.
I'm not about to, but I question like why he missed it versus like Laramie. And obviously Terry, we talked about Terry already. So that's kind of where I'm at.
For me, like OTA's attendance is a nothing burger in general. It's nothing to really get worked up or concerned about. But however, like I told someone yesterday on X, it put like for Terry, I don't care. Terry can miss all of OTAs, whatever. We know why he's missing it. He's missing it for a specific reason, contract negotiations. We also know that Terry's going to bring it regardless. Laramie Tunsil, not really a shock either, because remember, we talked to those Houston Texans. We had guys from Houston, Texas that covers that team tell us that, some of the issues with Laramie may be that he's not a leader, which doesn't bother me coming from a left tackle, especially if he's known to play at an all-pro or Pro Bowl type level every year, what Laramie Tunsil does. So that doesn't shock me. Now, Marshon Lattimore, on the other hand, I just had a question. My question was, I put it out there. Has he been seen around the team all offseason? And I asked that because Marshon Lattimore, he came in the middle of the season last season. He had his very short stint here in the games that he did play. He struggled. And one of the things we talked about during that struggling period was it'll be good to see him with the whole offseason under his belt, working with the team or working with the program. And for all intents and purposes, I haven't heard anything about him being around the program at all. Now, he could be doing a lot of work by himself, which is fine, and I hope he's doing everything he needs to do to get ready for the season. But I would just say for me, I ain't gonna make a big deal about it that he's missing it. However, it would have just put me at a bit more ease to know that he's kind of bought in and that he's kind of working with his teammates to kind of show that this is not who I was last season. But otherwise, I mean, hey, just hope he's ready for the mandatory stuff. And that's all I got to say on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it doesn't matter at all. If you look at it from a league-wide standpoint, there's a lot of marquee guys not OTAs. I just seen a tweet yesterday, like the Tennessee Titans, like Jeffrey Simmons wasn't there. A bunch of guys, like maybe 8 guys weren't there. I mean, you just never really know what they got going on. I think Linnell, everybody got their different opinions or whatever, and everyone got a different job to do. I think I can understand why some would be upset about those two in particular, but it's not a big deal. Now, even mandatory, if they decide to hold out maybe because of money, which is a reality, right? That could possibly be a thing, even though we've had discussions with people that know Laramie personally. We haven't necessarily heard anything from Marshon's side, but he doesn't have any guaranteed money on his contract. I think Laramie is next year. He doesn't have any guarantee. But, at the end of the day, they play 2 positions where it's pretty much take on your man who's in front of you. So it's not that complicated from that standpoint. And I think them returning 2 weeks from now for minicamp, it's not going to be like they're missing a beat. Now if they're missing training camp dates and the mandatory stuff, then you can get on their ass a little bit, but it's not like this was a mandatory thing. It's unfortunate, because you had 100% participation last year, and you would like that continuity to continue. But the reality is, in the NFL, it doesn't always work like that. I mean, T.J. Watt missed OTAs. Myles Garrett just got paid the highest amount of a non-quarterback. He missed OTAs, and he's posting while his teammates are practicing at OTAs. He's in Japan, chilling, buying clothes, and walking the street, and getting yelled at, and kids saying Wakanda forever to him. So, I mean, it's no big deal.
Let's go ahead and take a break. Let's talk about these guys over there, Underdog Fantasy. And then when we get back, we can talk Louis Riddick and some quotes maybe that came out of OTAs between Cliff, Dan, and Jaden. But Underdog Fantasy, it's one of the best places to make picks during playoff basketball. It's one of the leading places to make all your sports pick, and you can play now in your state, obviously with the leading sports app in Underdog. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog, and their app has over 100K 5-star reviews within it. So to play, all you have to do is download the app and choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats. You can choose from things like points, assists, so much more. It is the layup. So again, download that app and pick higher or lower. Once the picks feel good, or once you feel good about them, you can play as little as $1. If you get everything right, you went up to 1,000 times your money with that dollar. Yes, $1 can get you $1,000 with just your hoops knowledge. Tonight, right? Them boys in New York ain't trying to get, they not trying to get sent back home, especially at their home court. Indiana against New York. Dre, what you think about that game, by the way, bro?
I think in the end, I think New York will probably win tonight, just because I think that the NBA needs this to happen, because you don't have another game until next Thursday when the finals start. So I'm gonna go with New York tonight.
New York tonight, okay. All right, so we got Tyrese Halliburton. Boy, the nickname, I can't even say this during the ad, but that nickname that he got is vicious. But Tyrese Halliburton, he has a 36.5 PRA, points, rebounds, and assists. I'm rocking with Hiley on this one. I'm going to go higher on his 36.5 points, rebounds, and assists. We have Jalen Brunson. He has 30.5 points or 40.5 points, rebounds, and assists. But I don't see his three-pointers made. But I'm living life on the edge, baby. I'm going to go higher on his first quarter 3 points made. I'm going to go, that's at 0.5, so he just needs to make one. I'm going to go higher on Jalen Brunson's 3-pointers made in the first quarter. And I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do OG and Anunoby. Good Lord. I'm going to go higher on his 23.5 PRA. Points, rebounds, and assists. That's going to wrap it up for today. If you listen to the podcast, you let me know if I'm right. Again, let's wrap it up. OG Anunoby, 23.5 PRA. We're going higher. Jalen Brunson, 0.5 3-pointers made in the first quarter. We're going higher. And then we're going higher on Tyrese Halliburton's PRA, 36.5 on tonight's matchup with the Knicks. Download the Underdog app and sign up using promo code TRABADIVE to unlock a special offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That is promo code TRABADIVE. You must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. If you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. If you're in Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. If you're in New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Let's get back to the show. All right. So quotes from this weekend. First off, did y'all think that Jaylen Daniels got like his frame got bigger? Like, did y'all think that? Like, what do y'all think? Because apparently,
I don't know if it's
no grown man like that. Bro.
Hey, come on, AJ, we can answer the question.
I mean,
I was very specific why I phrased it.
Not like it'd be one thing if someone went from like being 202 to like 270. Like, yeah, I could see from that way, but I mean, I was seeing all type of wild, reckless tweets yesterday, dog. That just
Yeah, I didn't. First off, I thought people were going crazy last week with the picture. With the pictures, and I'm like, bro, I know I'm not, but I don't really see like no big difference.
The only thing I've seen is that he's added some definition. Like, you can tell he's working out. I mean, he's not like, bigger and, put on a bunch of weight or nothing like that. You can just tell he's been working out. Like, you just see some definition in the muscles.
Where did he gain the definition at?
I just saw the biceps, bro. That's it. I ain't seen nothing else. I didn't look anywhere else. I seen the one picture with his shirt, and I seen, okay, all right, he getting a little definition. That's it. I ain't seen nothing else.
Yeah, he actually said, somebody asked him if there was a concerted effort to add muscle this offseason. He was like, nope, I was just working out. Wasn't like I needed to eat this amount. It was just to go out there and have a plan and naturally just put on weight. So, like, it's really for him. It's really simple. I don't know if anybody else like
it's
out there is like super
he's
concerned.
Getting older.
And then last year he did just fine last year. Okay. Did y'all have anything watching or listening to Cliff, Dan, Jaden that stood out to you all?
Cliff made a comment. You know, a lot of this stuff, especially this early on, is going to be a lot of coach speak. They're not going to give you much. Like, I thought some of the interesting things with Cliff was like he didn't, you know, like they wanted him to kind of let some of the rookies jump out there for him, like Jalen Lane and the running back Ja'Cory Crosby-Merritt, and he was just like, oh, you know, those guys got to work, man. Like, you know, they're going to have to, you know, they're in crowded rooms, they got to prove themselves. So he didn't give them. Yeah, right. But I think the one comment he made, I mean, it's good to hear, but he said Jaden's arm is definitely stronger. Like that's a, you know, a big improvement, especially because I didn't think Jaden had bad arm strength, but you know, I think he's got a great deep ball. But to hear that his arm strength is, you know, popping out early to Cliffing the staff, I mean, that's encouraging to hear because it's not even just all about the deep ball. It's, you know, fitting those balls in some of those tight windows and how Jaden's going to play. So it's interesting to hear that Cliff has noticed that Jaden definitely has strength in his arm strength. So that's one thing that popped out to me at least.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really stood out to me from the conversation. Did you guys watch the Commander log?
I did.
I didn't. Y'all gotta give me it.
Okay, so I don't want to say I learned too much from it, but I guess they really like Josh Connolly Jr. a lot.
They like him. Yes,
that's what I took away from it. Dan Quinn, you know, had him penciled as the guy that he wanted. I think Bob Myers is heavily involved in their day-to-day practices as far as operation-wise. They really like Trey Amos. They were definitely keying in on a corner. We're hoping that things would fall in place for them. They took a lot of calls from what I've seen. I mean, that's really what I've taken away from this week. But as far as what Cliff said, he knows how to say some stuff without saying too much. Coach talk, like he's been a head coach, so he's well equipped in the PR department. DQ, same thing. Also, a tidbit from the Commander log is that Joe Witt Jr. really wanted them to take Josh Connolly Jr.
Yeah, which is interesting. And I guess if I can speak on the Commander's
so that speaks
log,
on the edge. That speaks on how he felt about the edge rushers that were available.
Yeah, but you know, AJ too. One thing I was wondering, I'm pretty sure we'll probably never find out. But in that second round, when they were debating who to take, remember Adam Peters said we got two guys we're looking at here. Obviously, one was Trey Amos, but I kind of wonder who the other guy was they were looking at. But no, I mean, one thing watching that Commanders log thing, and I kind of felt the same way I did last year watching the Commanders draft log. Adam Peters just knows how to come. He's so in control in those draft war rooms. Like, it puts you at ease. Like, I always go back to the Ron Rivera-led war room when they were drafting Emmanuel Forbes. No one looked confident in that room that was going to be their decision. They were whispering. Like, they was like, please.
Is he available? Like, yeah, he's going to make it.
I mean, they were whispering like they were like it was a secret, like they were about to pull a heist off for drafting, you know, Emmanuel Forbes. They were pulling a heist on the rest of the team, like, you know, like, yeah, no one else wants this guy, but this is who we're going to draft. But Adam Peters is so in command, he's so in control in the war room, and everyone seems to be in cohesion. Like with the Josh Connolly pick, like everybody in there wanted him. Like I think what struck me about that was Adam Peters, like when I think it was like around the 12th pick. Adam Peters started kind of sweating. They didn't like kind of allude to who they wanted at that point, but you could tell it was a guy that they were circling in on. And once they drafted him, it was obvious that it was Josh Connolly. No, they really liked him throughout their whole room. So it's just refreshing to see the process of how they come to these decisions. And it's refreshing to see Adam Peters controlling his confidence and his command and, you know, that war room, especially when he's fielding calls. Like, you know, he knows how to handle these GMs. Like, you know, he's confident. He has good relationships with these guys, obviously, the way he talks to them on the phone. So it's good knowing that you're in good hands with a guy who knows how to work in a front office and knows how to command the room as an adult. So it's good having an Adam Peters.
Yeah. if there is one takeaway or two takeaways from any of the pressers, it does come from Dan Quinn himself. Speaking on the coaching staff, it was like how rare it is to have the same coaching staff and retain everybody. He mentioned how big of a deal it was. And you don't really get a chance to talk about it because looking back it is pretty rare. He named some people, like they added a special teams coach and assistant, and Brian Schneider. He's had some experience with, but it fast tracks some of the things that they want to understand, is what he said, but allows them to get deeper in terms of like the depth and knowledge for like the schematic side of things, and it's better understanding of one another. I personally am impressed, surprised that everybody stayed. Like, not surprised in the fact that more surprised, specifically surprised that nobody took the opportunities, because they had opportunities. Some people did have opportunities to go elsewhere. So like, I'm surprised in that aspect that everybody did stay. And I also think like that's kind of a symbolism of who Dan Quinn is to his staff. And that's pretty big for, continuity in itself. Like we talked about in the offseason, earlier in the offseason, how this offense, like, we probably only seen a small percentage of it. You get to keep Cliff around, and like, he's gonna bring out some stuff that probably plenty of people haven't seen before. And I'm interested to see what that looks like, especially with the Debo guy, right? Especially with Jaylen Lane. I mean to say Debo guy, like I ain't know him. That's weird. But Debo Samuel and Jaylen Lane, like two guys who have really good contact balance, but also has some good receiver skills, like, and play the wide receiver position. So you can get them the ball at the line of scrimmage and they can break a couple tackles and make a play. So like, I am interested in seeing how Cliff digs deep into his bag offensively. And obviously with Joe Witt being around and keeping his staff, like, you get to, again, we talked about like retooling that front seven, right? Or specifically the defensive line. You can find people like that last group didn't cut it. 2024 didn't cut it. Like, get some new guys in here to refresh that group and see like if I can make something shake up there. And obviously they revamped the whole cornerback situation. Like, cornerback's completely different for the most part, 90% different. And I think having like these people who you feel like can fit your scheme and what you want to do better is always going to be a big deal. So I think that coaching staff, and I didn't even go to the assistants or linebackers or anything like that, but obviously keeping those is going to be big. So from top down, that's kind of one of the bigger things that for Dan Quinn to speak on and acknowledge is pretty cool.
Hey, Jamal, and to add to that, Jamal, it's actually that whole point that Dan Quinn brings up about keeping your coaching staff and everything. I think that raises the expectations of this team going forward this year, because this could be the last year that you have with this coaching staff intact, especially if you have another successful year. But I think you have to go out there and capitalize on what you have now. It's kind of, to me, like what Detroit Lions has had the last couple of years. You've had Aaron Glenn and you have Ben Johnson retained when these both were high, profile coaching candidates. They could have went elsewhere, but they stayed in Detroit, and they went out and with the Detroit finish with a 15-2 year, 14-3, something like that this past year, after being successful the year previous, and in Washington, I think you definitely have the better quarterback than Detroit has had the last couple of years. And you look at this coaching staff who has been, everyone has been trying to pluck some of these guys, especially Cliff Kingsbury, even the quarterback's coach. Was it Tavita Pritchard or David Blau? A couple of those guys was talking to other teams. So they could have went elsewhere. When you can bring back that continuity in that whole coaching staff on a team that won 12 games in a year where you probably had less talent that you're going to have this year, I think the expectations might be raised a little bit, especially knowing that this could be the last season with all of those guys intact.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Dre. I think the goal is championship. It's to be in the Super Bowl. I mean, if you got there with the roster that you had last year, all the moves indicate that they're trying to actually get to the Super Bowl and win it all. Yeah, it's hard to replace these assistants, especially if you're having winning seasons. So it's surprising that they were able to keep everybody intact. And I think the main person that you have concerns of losing is Cliff Kingsbury, even though you have some understudies in David Blau,
Brian Johnson,
Tavita Pritchard.
You also have the tight ends guy that they mentioned as being a future.
David Rea.
Yeah, you could possibly lose all of those guys. You feel me? So it's just one of those situations where, like, do you go for the gusto? Do you throw all your chips in and do the less need and say F them picks? And it kind of looks like that a little bit. So it's interesting to see how everything could play out. And are they done with this roster? And when I say that, just meaning from like adding from different positions, whether it be running back, cornerback, wide receiver, pass rusher, whatever the case is. But that's something to be mindful of and thinking of, because it does look like they're putting all their chips in, saying, hey, we think we can get to the Super Bowl in year 2.
And then another person that he spoke on, speaking of defensive line, is Dietrich Wise. He said that Dietrich had came from great recommendations, but it's easy to see that he would be a fit there. He's strong playing blocks, he's square, excellent background in the run game, so it was an easy fit for us. And I think that's important for people to know. People asked about, what is it about this defensive line? And I really think that they did want to have an identity. But I think their identity is focused on the thing that was their ultimate weakness last year. They do want a pass rusher. And I think that Jake Martin is probably their guy that they may have an affinity for in terms of like what he can do. But Dietrich, Kinlaw, what's the zero tech dude that they got from Atlanta? Goldman. Yeah, all of those guys are here for one job and one job only. And then you need Kinlaw as well, because he's a big money guy, and you need your boy Duran and Johnny to get their shit together as well. Command this. Appreciate the donation, man. $10, bro. Appreciate that, big dog. Hope you are doing well over there. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Command This podcast as well on YouTube. Steve says specifically, who is the odd running back in the stable? Because they're not all making it. In his opinion, Bill will be starting by the seasons, and keep grinding, and salute. Salute to you, Steve, and the Command This podcast, big dog. We can end with this one and the Lewis Riddick conversation. Odd man out. Let me actually keep this question up. Well, I'll start my question. I'll start mine with the inverse, or the back end of the question. He thinks that Bill will be starting Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, for those who don't know his nickname. I do like the idea or the optimism that people have with Merritt, with Bill. I do like what I see from Bill in terms of what he brings to the table with his athleticism, his agility, and his lateral quickness, and also his burst. Like all of those things that make a good running back like super shifty, but also unpredictable, right? I like that. But I also don't know right now who's going to be sitting outside of, I just know Austin Eckler is going to be here. I know that B-Rob is going to be here. I know that Bill may be around, and they also like your boy.
Rodriguez or McNichols.
McNichols. Yeah. So I can't see Rodriguez initially cracking the final roster. And who's to say that Merritt can't play special teams? So like that's typically what you want that fourth guy to do if they're not on the field all the time. It's like if they're gonna keep 4 running backs, somebody's gonna have to play special teams. So I don't know, man. I don't. I think the odd man out is going to be the obvious one in Rodriguez, who's already been like in and out of the lineup the last couple years here, even with this staff. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't think it's going to be like a big surprise. I did ask the question though that earlier in the year that I thought that like B-Rob had a potential of getting cut, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obvious Chris Rodriguez is going to be one of the odd running backs out. I think Jeremy McNichols has the opportunity to be a cut as well. I think you just have to pay attention to what's going on around the league at that running back position, who gets released, the waiver wire in that regard. I think even though he's a 7th-round pick, I think he makes a team because they believe in his ability. I mean, just think about it. He was a 7th-round pick, but he had a top 30 visit. Like, they used one of their top 30 visits to bring in a guy that they drafted 7th round. So he's definitely making the team unless he gets into some type of trouble off the field, God forbid, for his sake. So he's definitely going to make the roster. I just think that as the season goes, I think if Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt can show his agility, his vision, and burst in the running game, I think that he does become RB1. But I think that it'll be a running back by committee. Matter of fact, let me take back the RB1 comment. I think it'll be a running back by committee. I think that they'll utilize Eckler, B-Rob, and Merritt all collectively. It kind of reminds me of like the Chiefs when they had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and they were also able to sprinkle in another one of their backup running backs alongside with Isaiah Pacheco. And down the stretch, Isaiah Pacheco became that guy that was featured more so in the offense. I think that's what you'll have here. I don't know how he got the name Bill from Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, but God bless.
Yeah, that bald head looking like a milk dud.
He look like Lil Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I think that's how I see it. Will it be a productive running back room? I think it could be productive the same way that they were last year, just based off the threat of Jaden Daniels. I mean, Jaden Daniels' threat alone of running is always going to have your running game being top notch. If you look around the league, those guys that have that dual threat capabilities typically have top running games in the league, from the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson, Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, James Cook. Who else? Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley.
Did you say Derrick Henry?
Yeah, Derrick Henry with Lamar. So I think you always have a productive running game. It's just more so, will you have a home run hitter? I think that's what people's anticipation is when it comes to Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. Is he going to be a home run hitter? That's something that they haven't seen in a while since CP.
I mean, odd man. Yeah. I mean, for me, the odd man out, I think, if you're going 3 backs, I think it's safe to say we know who the 3 backs will be. I think Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, a.k.a. Bill, will be, on that roster along with Eckler and Robinson. But let me just say this. I was probably one, and I'm not doing this to toot my own horn, I'm just prefacing this. I was probably one of the first people on Bill. Like, I recognized him when I looked at the visits, who they were taking in for the top 30 visits. And I was like, who's this guy? I went and looked at him and said, man, this guy's really intriguing. Like, how is he, where's his draft stock? And I'm like, okay, I, did the background, played Arizona 1 game after playing in New Mexico most of his career. And in my mind, I'm like, man, this guy could be a steal. They end up drafting him. Cool. But I'll say this, because I do think a lot of fans, over, the last couple of weeks, month, whatever, since the draft have kind of already kind of vaulted this guy into this position where he's going to be a starter, and he could be. And I do hope he does end up, being that guy that can start at some point in the season and take over that job. But I just don't want to put that expectation on this 7th round rookie. AJ brought up the Chiefs. He brought up Pacheco from Rutgers. I watched this guy at Rutgers, but Pacheco is actually an anomaly when it comes to running backs drafted in the 7th round. He's, I think, probably the only productive 7th round running back in the last 10 plus years. Like, if you look over the running backs that's been drafted in the 7th round in the last 10 or so years, he's the only guy that's kind of made a starting position for himself in this league. So it's kind of, you're putting yourself at behind the 8 ball, kind of already predicting that this guy can start off the break. Now, I'm not saying no one in the chat has done that. I actually agree with Commander's podcast and that he may actually be the starter at some point. But I've seen a lot of fans kind of go overboard and say, man, this guy can probably start week 1. And I'm like, man, that's way too optimistic and that's way too much expectations to put on a 7th round rookie running back. I mean, obviously, I hope he's everything. I hope he's that guy. I hope he's that steal. I hope he's a starter. If he is week 1, that means we may have just found the diamond in the rough, but it's just kind of reckless at this point to kind of pronounce that he will be starting at this point because you don't know that, and there's just too much expectations to put on the guy. But B-Rob, to be honest with you, and I've been hard on him, but I do think that a lot of the B-Rob talk is kind of getting out of hand. I don't think B-Rob is as bad as a lot of the fan base thinks he is. I do think he's replaceable. I do think there's better options out there. Are they on this roster? That's yet to be determined. We don't know if we have anybody on this roster that's better than B-Rob right now, but hopefully JCM can be that guy. Eckler in spurts, sure, AJ, but as a full-time, every down running back, who's better than B-Rob at this point that's proven to be that guy?
Well,
we didn't get any takers.
I ain't really got nothing to say. I just think at the end of the day, man, you would love to have a home run hitter at running back, but Jaden Daniels is at quarterback, bro. Jaden Daniels led the team in rushing yards last year. So do I expect him to repeat that again? Yes. Because I think my issue with B-Rob is the things that are within his control, he's not going to be able to improve to where it's like a major difference. You just hope that there's somebody else within this roster or even maybe a guy we don't even know. Because even if you look at Austin Eckler, he was undrafted, and he's been able to be productive in this league. So like Dre says, not a lot of guys that have been drafted 7th round besides maybe Pacheco and Chris Carson in the last 10 years that you can like sit back and be like, yeah, they made a team and made a difference. But, maybe there's something there with Bill. I didn't watch Bill. I didn't watch Bill, so I don't really know much about him. I think the couple highlights that keep going around as if like that's the only play he's ever made in his life. It's overrated, but hey, it is.
Yeah, that's the people who they ain't really watching nothing, so they gotta search on Twitter for the person who did watch something. That's all they got for him. All right, so we're gonna cut it here. The Louis Riddick conversation is something that is going to be talked about for the whole offseason anyway. So we're not going to miss nothing with that one. Appreciate the question, Steve. Rob said, let's just call him JCM. Debo, we getting some carries also. If we kept 4 wide receivers, we're going to talk about that in training camp, JC. That's a lot of thinking right now. But let's talk when we get some practices in. All right. That's the B-Rob conversation. All right. Hey, good show. The fellas will be back with the interview because it's been confirmed, AJ. So I'll see you tomorrow. And then we will have that put out early next week. I I think we'll be back
We got
Tuesday.
Jalen Ramsey coming on tomorrow, guys. So be looking out for that interview.
He's gonna make his announcement.
Yeah, he telling us, and that's only.
He's gonna make his announcement. He's just gonna put the fitted on. That's all he's gonna do. He ain't even gonna say nothing. Hey. But all right, that's gonna wrap it up for us. Y'all enjoy y'all evening. All 32 is since it's late in the week, it's back to back. So all 32 gonna be on tomorrow. Same deal. So yeah, y'all take it easy, stay safe, enjoy y'all weekends. We out of here. Peace.
Chop it down. Chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Damn, set. Watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it up. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through 4th and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.